Hi, I'm Megan Shigo, and I've been a licensed realtor since 1998. I've sold over 1,000 homes, and I'm here today to help you have your best buying or selling experience. Hey there, it's Megan, and I am talking to you today about when you have a tenant in your property and you are trying to sell it. From a buyer's perspective, a buyer would like to typically purchase a property that is vacant and ready for them to occupy, especially because if they're buying it as a residential home, in their agreement with the bank, they have to be occupying it within 60 days. So there is a time limit on how long a buyer can let a house be in someone else's possession before they move in. Also, a buyer's not too excited about buying a property that has a tenant in it, because what if the tenant doesn't get out and they can't close escrow? In our California purchase agreements, it says if you're selling a tenant-occupied property, the tenant has to be out within 5 days before escrow closes. That's so that the buyer can take a walkthrough and know that the tenant is still not going to be there when they close escrow. So, what's the best way to deal with having a tenant and try to sell your property? Well, talk to the tenant. Just call them up and say, this is what I'm up to. Maybe they're interested in purchasing the property, which right now a seller might not be so excited to do because the market is kind of crazy and people are offering a lot more. But maybe you could work something out with the tenant where you give them first right of refusal. You could offer to give them some extra money to move, and to move quickly so that you can get the place vacated, paint, and clean up and get it sold right away. Also, if you're a landlord and you're in the state of California, you really should get yourself well acclimated with the housing laws. And one of the newer laws says that if you give a tenant notice, a 60-day notice, and you're asking them to leave because you are going to sell the property, then you have to pay them to leave. You have to give them 1 month's rent to help with their relocation costs. So make sure you're not violating any laws. And if you want more information, you can shoot me an email or a text, and I'll send you some information that'll help you and explain what your obligations are as the landlord. And lastly, I've been through this a few times in my 24 years, but when you're showing the property and the tenant's in it, the tenant is probably going to give the buyer an earful, and they'll probably be emphatic about certain things so that the buyer doesn't feel emphatic about purchasing the property. Not all the time, but I've seen it happen a lot of times, so it's just a little bit risky. So if you want any more information, if you have a rental property and you'd like to sell it, you want to know what you could purchase with the money, do a 1031 exchange, or if you have a dispute with a tenant, you need some advice, or you need a current copy of the law, or any other kind of referral, just shoot me a message, a text, an email, and I will get back to you ASAP. And have a great week.